to East West Seed Foundation's Urban Gardening webinar series. In this webinar series, we will teach you how you can grow your own healthy, nutritious food at home. My name is Joyce, and in today's episode, my colleagues April and Willard will be helping me share how to grow healthy seedlings that lead to healthy, mature plants. As your seedling emerges from the soil, most growers breathe a big sigh of relief. Close your eyes and you can almost see the plant grow and flourish into its full beauty, producing an enviable profusion of leaves, flowers, and vegetables. Growing seedlings doesn't have to be a huge struggle. With the proper care, they will not only survive but even thrive in your garden. Follow our tips and guides for taking care of seedlings after germination. But before we get to seedlings, preparations have to be made to ensure good seedling quality. Care for seedlings begins even before sowing. We need good quality seeds. The seeds should be in good preserving package with an expiration date. Yes, seeds can expire, after which they don't perform as well as expected. We need a good sterilized potting medium. We need a seedling tray or a similar cellular method so that the seedling roots grow individually. We need to identify a protected area where our seedlings will develop. We need a sprayer to provide a fine watering mist that won't disturb our seeds and seedlings. The illustration shown in this slide is the whole process one has to undergo should you decide to make your own soil mixture. The mixture should be loose but firm. We can't emphasize enough the need to sterilize your soil medium. You can refer to our webinar episode number 2 on how to prepare good soil for plants and how to go about soil sterilization. Leafy vegetables can be sown directly, one seed per pot or with sufficient space between seeds in a common pot where they will grow to maturity. Solanaceous and cucurbit crops are commonly sown in seedling containers before planting in a bed or large containers. In this way, less quantity of good sowing medium is needed. Additionally, the seedling roots grow individually and separately from their neighboring plants. At the right number of days after sowing, we are able to gently pull up the whole seedling and transplant immediately. This lessens transplant stress and ensures good continuing growth. In this photo are two kinds of seedling trays, one with 100 holes, the other with 128 holes. Use the smaller holes for smaller seeds, generally solanaceous. Larger holes for larger seeds, generally cucurbits. You can reuse seedling trays. Best to wash thoroughly and sanitize with a solution of 1 part bleach to 9 parts water. You can also sow on egg trays, eggshells, or using banana leaves. What is important is that the seedling grow individually and may be transplanted without disturbing the roots. A nursery is a place or an establishment for raising or handling of young vegetable seedlings until they are ready for more permanent planting. It provides favorable germination and growth conditions, protects the young plants against pests and disease, makes more efficient use of land, and help to improve crop uniformity. Healthy seedlings grown in a well-managed nursery will decide the yield we will reap in the future. A very important step is to select the site for your nursery. The nursery should be readily accessible to you since it would be good to monitor your seedlings frequently throughout the day. The nursery should be close to a permanent source of clean water for convenient watering or spraying as needed. The nursery should have a good air circulation to avoid molds and excess heat. It should have a flat surface so the seedlings grow evenly. It should be separated from growing vegetables to avoid spread of pests and diseases. Choose a sunny place. Avoid heavily shaded areas. Lastly, protect the vegetable nursery from stray animals, which is why many nurseries are raised on the table above the ground. A nursery can be large or small, depending on how many seedlings you sow and care for at one time. Depending on the crop, seedlings will stay in the nursery from 12 to 45 days. This example can carry 3 trays. You can adjust the size for 1 or 2 trays, making it higher or lower as you prefer. Note that the nursery is off the ground to protect against stray animals. It has a slatted floor for good air circulation and water drainage. It is in a sunny place, separated from growing plants. To make our own nursery, we will need mesh net, poles, and a slatted base raised off the ground. We will need a quantity of mesh net. Vertical poles are installed around the base of our nursery. Cross poles are tied to the vertical poles to form a kind of box frame. We will now install and secure the net on top of the nursery. We can now add the net walls with an opening in the front, and our nursery is done. We can now place our seedlings within the nursery and keep them safe. But what if it rains hard? We can simply add some plastic or sack material to the roof of our nursery to further protect the seedlings. When the rain is done, the sack cover can be removed so our seedlings will gain sunlight once more. How long will you be caring for your seedlings before they are ready to go out into the garden? This chart shows the days after sowing to transplanting. It's a good practice to note down the sowing date of your seeds and expected transplant date, and to label your seedling tray. The care you give to the seedling over this number of days translate to a healthy mature plant. Here's an overview of the care and management one has to perform to enable to grow healthy seedlings. Watering, fertilizer application, protection from pests, and seedling hardening. We'll share information on each management practice in the following slides. Proper watering is another extremely important part of successful seedling care. Seedlings need constantly moist soil. They can't survive long without water and should never be allowed to dry out completely. However, you don't want the soil to be saggy all the time either, especially overnight. So don't water the seedlings after 4 p.m. Soggy soil promotes pest infestation, mold growth, and disease that can kill your seedlings, like dumping off. Use a sprayer with a gentle mist and water regularly, early morning, giving the leaves and stem a chance to dry, before watering again in the mid-afternoon. Check moisture content of soil or root block before deciding on a light or heavy watering. Overwatering can result in dumping off, especially in warm weather. Once your seedlings begin to grow their true leaves, it's time to think of fertilizing them as part of a regular seedling care routine. If the seedlings will be transplanted in 10 to 12 days like cucurbits or legumes, Fertilize only if needed to boost plant vigor. If the seedlings stay in the cellular container for 12 days or more, you may need to fertilize. But remember, you don't want to feed them a full dose of fertilizer because they are just babies. Our advice is to use an organic fertilizer like fermented plant juice or FPJ rather than synthetic ones. For details on how to make FPJ, please watch our webinar episode number 3. Shown in this slide is the timeline for solanaceous, tomato, eggplant, and sweet pepper crops from germinating to transplanting stage. The growing stage between 11 to 20 days from germination is the best time to apply fermented plant juice. In this slide is the timeline for cucurbits, bitter gourd, watermelon, kalabasa, upo, patola, cucumber, and masmelon crops from germinating to transplanting stage. The growing stage between 4 to 9 days from germination is the best time to apply fermented plant juice if needed. This is the timeline for leafy vegetables like pechay, kangkong, mustasa from germinating to transplanting stage. The growing stage between 4 to 9 days from germination is the best time to apply fermented plant juice if needed. Other ways to protect our seedlings. Monitor for pests. Early detection is the key. Remove any damaging insect or larva and remove any diseased seedlings as soon as possible. Surround with scents. Plant lemongrass, basil, marigold, and others around the nursery. Scents of these plants ward off aphids and white flies. Fence the nursery. Chickens, dogs, and goats are among those who can damage seedlings. Fencing protects seedlings from these unwanted visitors. Hardening off is the process of slowly preparing seedlings for the transition to the garden. When you harden off seedlings, you are toughening them up by getting them used to life outdoors over a period of several days. Best to do the following. Remove shade or move seedling under full sun for increasing hours each day. On the last day, they should be fully uncovered throughout. Reduce watering to once a day. No fertilizer application during the hardening period. The diagram in this slide shows the period when it's best to do the seedling hardening for the cucurbit and leafy crops. 3 to 5 days before the transplanting date is the hardening period, where we will do less watering and increasing exposure to sunlight daily. The diagram in this slide shows the period when it's best to do the seedling hardening for our solanaceous crops. 5 to 7 days before the transplanting date is the hardening period, where we will do less watering and increasing exposure to sunlight daily. Probably the biggest frustration for gardeners is when their seedlings tip over at the base and die without warning. This is called dumping off and is caused by bacterial seedling blight. Dumping off is the most common cause of seedlings dying after sprouting. This can be avoided if we use good sterile potting medium, clean and sterile seedling trays, and no watering after 4 p.m. When seedling leaves turn brown, yellow, white, or look dull and faded, that's a sure sign that something is wrong. Most of the time, you can save them, but you have to act fast in order for them to survive. Plant distress may be caused by overwatering, sunburn, or lack of nutrients. Hold off from more watering. Cover with mesh net at the hottest time of the day. And or boost soil nutrition with fermented plant juice or FPJ. If seedlings don't get enough light, they will reach and stretch for the brightest light source that's nearby. Ensure sun exposure. Morning sun is best, and a mesh net can protect the seedlings from extreme heat, particularly at the beginning. Overcrowding can also cause seedlings to stretch towards the light, but this will not happen if you are using seedling trays. If your seedlings have grown so tall that they are falling over, then it's probably too late to save them. Sometimes, seedlings can grow very slowly, or they seem to stop growing altogether. Keep in mind that some types of seedlings grow much faster than others do, and that is perfectly normal. Fast-growing seedlings can get true leaves within a week after germination, while others won't grow them for several weeks. So if it's just that your seedlings are not growing true leaves yet, give it more time. However, there are a few problems that can slow or stunt growth. Again, not enough light, not enough nutrients, and not enough water can slow seedling growth. Droopy seedlings and curling leaves are both indications that something is definitely wrong and should be fixed quickly. Underwatering, spider mites, or fertilizer burn are the three main culprits, all of which can quickly kill seedlings. Learning how much water your seedling needs will come with experience. As soon as you notice the leaves are sagging or curling, take a closer look. Spider mites are too small to be seen. But if you see webbing on the leaves or between the leaf joints, this could be spider mites. There may also be other tiny bugs on the leaves. Use biopesticide to help get rid of spider mites and bugs. Avoid chemical fertilizers, particularly at the seedling stage. Fermented plant juice is a safe way to fertilize seedlings. After following all the tips and techniques we've talked about, you will end up with quality seedlings. These seedlings should display a healthy, vigorous shoot, a thick stem, and a good rooting system. You're now ready to transplant the seedlings into their permanent home. I think we can all agree, to plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow. A better tomorrow for all of us. Thank you for joining us in this webinar series, and we hope that you learned a lot. For more guides in growing vegetable, you may visit growhow.eastwestseed.com. To learn more about Eastwestseed's vegetable varieties, please download CropWiki EWS app on Google Play or Apple App Store. You can now order high-quality vegetable seed online from the comfort of your home. Visit East West Seed official Lazada store today. Bye for now!